Hi everyone, it's Nishti here, specialist dietitian for children and parents and mindfulness teacher. And in this video, you are going to learn what you can do if meal times are really stressful. If you have a child or children and meal times are extremely stressful, this video is for you. I'm going to give you 3 strategies to how you can overcome all this stress that we tend to see at meal times. Now, these strategies are unusual. They work. They are not like the usual strategies that you may have heard, like eat with your children, which is still important, expose them to different foods, which is still important, but I'm sure you've tried everything in the book and it's still not working. So what can you do? Well, this is when mindfulness comes in. Long-lasting holistic change. Something that we're probably not very much used to, but I will show you exactly what you need to do. You do not need to be a frequent meditator. All you need to be is open to a different way of looking at how we can overcome stress at mealtime. So make sure you stay to the end because this is going to be a great video. So before I give you the mindfulness strategies that you can use, I just want to talk about what is mindfulness. Mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment, non-judgmentally, living fully in the present moment. Now, who's our greatest teacher at doing that? Our children. Our children come into this world, they live fully in the here and now, they do not worry about the past, the future. They are completely ignorant to government guidelines on healthy eating, which is fantastic because they eat what they want when they want. Now, this is important to understand. Mindfulness is, no one is as great at it as our children. And they teach us that, not just to do with food, but with everything in life. They're teaching us to come back to the here and now, to accept the moment as it is, and to let go of all the beliefs and conditioning that we have been taught by culture, society, the government. Now, why this is important to know? Because unlike traditional parenting, which is the child comes in and you're here to fix the child because you're the parent and you are hierarchically above the child and then the government is above the parent, conscious parenting or mindful parenting is completely the opposite. It says that the child comes into this life to raise the parent. Just because we are adults, it doesn't mean we know everything. We still have unhealed childhood wounds that will be triggered if they are not looked at. And who triggers these wounds better? Children. They come in and they show the parent where they are yet to grow up or heal, if that makes sense. Now, mindful parenting or conscious parenting is a completely different way to parent your child because you now look at it as not me trying to fix the child, but me learning what the child is here to teach me learning to let go of fear, let go of control, and to be more fully in the present moment and to pause and look within and say, why am I so triggered? Why am I so desperate that my child loves me? Why do I not feel like a good enough mother if my child doesn't eat their broccoli? Not feeling good enough is a childhood wound that is being triggered in adulthood. So I have written a blog about traditional versus conscious parenting. I suggest that you read it if you're interested. I have gone to so many conferences in Los Angeles with Dr. Shafali, and I've been attending so many of her online educational programs. And it has really helped me as a person, but also as a dietitian and as a mindfulness teacher, because it completely changes how you consult clients and how you live your life. Instead of always trying to fix things and control things, which doesn't really work, it's just a more beautiful, mindful way to raise children and raise yourself and have a healthier relationship with life and people around you. So I strongly recommend that you look into conscious parenting a bit more. So what can we be? Did you note? I didn't say what can we do, but what can we be to make meal times less stressful? Number 1, welcome your child's invitation to pause. Let's say meal times are extremely stressful for you. You are thinking about the future. Oh, my child is going to not grow very well. They might get an eating disorder. They are not going to gain weight this week because they haven't eaten or drank enough. They haven't had enough fluid. They might get dehydrated. You see, they may, or what if. These are all future projections. It's not true. Your mind is taking you to the future. When actually right now, are they doing okay? Perhaps they are. They're growing fine. They may not have eaten 3 meals today, but they had one proper meal today. Perhaps they eat very little on one day and then the next day they eat a lot. That's what kids do. They don't eat properly every single day. But that's okay. Who says you need to eat 3 proper meals every day? Government guidelines maybe, I don't know. But our children are at heart intuitive eaters. They are mindful eaters. They listen to their body. They eat what they want when they want. So accept your child's invitation to pause. What does that mean? This is when mindfulness comes in. Let's say they haven't eaten enough today and you're getting really upset about it. When you watch yourself become upset, you need to have some kind of self-awareness in order to do this. You need to be able to watch yourself from the outside. Mindfulness expands our awareness so we're able to see things clearer. So when a feeling arises, stress, anxiety, with mindfulness, a mindfulness practice such as meditation or the body scan or just sitting in stillness, you will be able to recognize when that feeling comes up in you. And that's the way to really avoid being triggered. Because when you feel the feeling arise, you can pause and you can breathe and you can become aware that you are getting angry, and you pause. And instead of saying, come on, you eat this, if you don't eat that, you don't get your pudding, you pause and you take a breath. And that few seconds of pausing can really change the whole energy in the room, because your energy has changed. So your child, whenever they trigger you, even in other aspects of life, not just food, being able to take a deep breath and come to your senses is a game changer. I work with a client who started to do this around meal times, and she said it was as if I was able to see the situation for what it was right now and not live in the future. Welcome your child's invitation to pause. That's the number one strategy. You're probably gonna ask yourself, or you want to ask me, and then what? So I've paused, and then what? Well, you will know when you have a moment. It's a bit like when you're tired and you have a moment to yourself. You know what action to take next. The action may be that you just take the plate of food away. The action may be that your child needs a cuddle. The action may be that you give them more chicken and leave the broccoli. I don't know what the action will be. You will know when you have a moment and pause. Number 2, accept your child for who they are and what they eat. Accept that diet, because that diet is what they eat, is who they are. You trying to change it is you saying to your child, that is not good enough, so therefore you are not good enough. And most of us adults grow up not feeling good enough. We don't want to project that not feeling good enough onto our children. We may not feel good enough as a parent if our child doesn't eat enough or good enough, you see, and then we project that onto our children. But actually our children are good. They feel good enough. They don't worry about anything. Accept your child's diet for what it is. Now, I am well aware that for some children who have autism or ARFID, by the way, if that's the case, any eating disorder or any autism, you need to work with a dietitian. and preferably a clinical psychologist. But with my clients with ARFID or autism, I use the same strategies, but then there is a lot more involved because these are special diagnoses. But for example, for a child with autism who only eats 4 or 5 foods, us trying to change it hasn't worked. I'm sure if you're a parent, you've tried every strategy in the book and it hasn't worked. The greatest thing and the most revolutionary thing you can do is to accept your child unconditionally for who they are and what they eat right now. This is not something we are used to hear because we're like, oh, that's not good enough. They need to eat more of this and more of that. But it's only when you accept the situation or the person for who they are that things change. I'm not saying if your child only eats toast that that's okay. I'm saying we need to accept it for who it is, for what it is right now. But remember, change is the only constant of life. It is going to change, but the more we try and resist, the more it will persist. So we accept the situation for what it is at this moment in time. It may not be perfect, but that's perfect. Let it be imperfect, and then we'll see what comes out of that. Accepting our children for what they eat, how they eat, and who they are is the most revolutionary thing you can do as a parent. They will grow up feeling a strong sense of self, and they won't feel embarrassed and be triggered around foods. How many children grow up to become adults who have issues around food because they have been given all these lectures around what is not good enough and what is good enough? Let them be. Let them have the relationship they have with food and let it be. Maybe if you're being triggered, examine why you're being triggered. What is your relationship with food like? Is it unhealthy? Maybe it is. I find that a lot of adults, as we know, struggle with disordered eating, let alone their children. And actually, the children I work with who have eating disorders, 90% of their parents also have some type of disordered eating. So, turn the spotlight the other way. Am I not seeing my child for who they are, but only if they eat their broccoli, I see them? But do I see them despite the fact that they didn't eat their broccoli? Because your child, I guarantee you, just wants you to see them. Hi, mommy, do you see me? Or do you just see whether I ate my broccoli or not? See your child for who they are. Accept your child for who they are unconditionally. It is just the most beautiful thing we can do. Number 3 is to let go of our conditioning. Whew, this is good. Because when your child doesn't eat breakfast and you may panic, you may believe that breakfast is the healthiest meal of the day. And if they don't eat breakfast, they will starve and they won't gain weight. And you see, we have been given all these guidelines on what is healthy eating or guidelines on everything really in life. But children don't know any of these things. That's why they are our greatest teachers. They are at heart mindful eaters. Intuitive eating is such a popular concept nowadays, but actually I always say, if you have children, just learn from them. You don't need to work with a dietitian to learn how to eat mindfully. Just watch your children eat, younger children especially, because they will pick what they want. Sometimes they will love the raspberry, sometimes they won't. They are so in tune with their body, it's fantastic to watch. So they are asking you to let go of your conditioning. You want them to eat in a particular way. You want them to drink in a certain amount of milk because you have been taught that this is what is right. But your child doesn't know any of that. But what they do know is their body. They know their body very, very well. So don't interrupt that. Don't try and really honor that. Try and honor the fact that your child knows very well who they are, what they want, how much they want, and honor it. The only control you have is to serve the most beautiful, nutritious food. But And that's it. That's the only thing we can control. And we can control our state of being when we are around children. If we are in fear and anxiety, parents often say to me, "Oh no, I just pretend I'm fine, I'm okay." They don't know that I'm not, that I'm in fear, that I'm in anxiety. Okay, they don't say that to me, but they always say, "Yeah, everything's fine at meal times. I just eat my dinner." But I'm sure they can feel your energy. I'm sure they can feel that actually all you care about is that they eat their full plate of dinner, that they eat their carrots, that they drink their milk, that they tick the box in your head. That's all you worry about. They don't worry about any tick boxes. They don't tick any boxes. They live life fully in the present moment. Let go of your conditioning. Let go of anything and everything you've been taught about life. And perhaps see what your child is trying to teach you. Let go of your conditioning. So that was number 3, let go of your conditioning. So I hope this has been helpful. We've talked about accept your child for who they are, pause, allow your child and welcome your child's invitation to pause when things are getting out of control, and 3, let go of your conditioning. I hope this video has been helpful. Make sure you read the blog below because that is going to be more detailed, and also on my Instagram page I do share a lot about how children are our greatest teachers on how to eat mindfully, and what you can do to try and make meal times less stressful. Give this a thumbs up if this was helpful for you, and I'll see you all in the next video.